What's going on, everybody, on this Thursday, July 24th, 2025? Normally, Thursdays are not reserved for my recording. Tomorrow will be the mailbag, and looking forward to that as we are about a week away from SummerSlam. But the only time I'd come to you is with major news, and in this case, not exciting news, not happy news. And as you may have heard, this is certainly not breaking. Hulk Hogan has been found dead or died at the hospital. We'll get into the details of that story in just a minute. In Clearwater, Florida, earlier today at his home. So at 71 years old, Terry Bollea, known to the world as Hulk Hogan, has died. And certainly sad for, most importantly, his family, his friends, in the wrestling business, of which he's made quite a few. And a day that I didn't think would be here yet. I mean, 71 years old is, by today's standards, not old. With the way that they can keep people alive these days, it's fairly young. I mean, it's not that his life was taken too soon or too young. I don't, you hear that when people are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. But certainly 71 is not old by any means, and he was seen just days earlier doing interviews and looking like the same Hulk with his 26-inch pythons and his fake hair and his bandana and, I mean, all the rest, and still relatively looking like Hulk. I mean, I have to say, the guy aged is about as well as you could expect someone to age. It's like he froze in time from 50 to 70. He didn't change at all. And obviously it's sad, and I'll give you the report. We've got some different things here to discuss regarding Hulk Hogan, some memories I personally have of him in person on a spring break trip I took, in person in a wrestling event here in Albany, New York. So we've got, again, personal stuff. You guys, I'm sure, have your own personal memories of him. Even if you don't know wrestling, you have friends that don't watch a lick of wrestling, everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. He's a name that transcends fandom. Arguably the biggest name in the entire industry ever. Bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin, yes. Bigger than Andre the Giant, although they are synonymous with one another. Bigger than Bret Hart. Bigger than, yes, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Go down the list. I don't know if there is a bigger name. A man that has had more impact than Hulk Hogan. He may not have been the best wrestler. There's no disputing that. But his impact on the culture is unparalleled. So here's the report. And again, there's pretty much pick your outlet as in terms of who you want to get your news from. This one particularly is from ESPN. And it says that he died Thursday at the age of 71, according to Florida police. In Clearwater, Florida, authorities responded to a call this morning, about a cardiac arrest. He was pronounced dead at a hospital. Police said in a statement on Facebook. They said, quote, "There were no signs of foul play or suspicious activities." WWE posted a note on X saying it was saddened to learn the Hall of Famer has died, and said, quote, "One of pop culture's most recognizable figures. Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s, and WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans." This article goes on for quite some time, talking about his real name, which we all know, and he has been struggling with several health issues in recent years, including lingering back injury from wrestling days. He hasn't wrestled since 2012. He recently was a founder of his Real American Freestyle Wrestling promotion and an owner of an upcoming New York City bar opposite Madison Square Garden. He headlined the first WrestleMania in 1985, teaming up with Mr. T, as we all know. I mean, WWE is going to go through and do a massive amount of documentaries on him moving forward and interviews, and now that he's passed, and it is a bit shocking. Although we're so desensitized, I think, now to deaths, that yes, this one's sad, but with with our attention spans today, it'll flow through the news cycle, and it'll be out of our daily minds within a few days. That's just unfortunately the way that it kind of works today. But while it's hot in the news cycle, we should take time to, again, you can think about it however you want. Most of us didn't know him personally. Most of us aren't actually crying over this, but still can feel the sadness as a fan from a distance. And again, there's a whole write-up that ESPN did. But some of the statements from Ric Flair, he says, "I'm absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend. Hulk has been by my side since we started in the wrestling business. An incredible athlete, talent, friend, and father. Our friendship has meant the world to me. He was always there for me. Even, hold on, it continues more. They cut out half of the damn thing. He was always there for me even when I didn't ask him to be. He was one of the first to visit me when I was in the hospital with a 2% chance of living, and he prayed by my bedside. Hulk also lent me money when Reed was sick. Hulkster, no one will ever compare to you. Rest in peace, my friend." And many people did think that Rick and Hogan hated each other. They didn't. There was an interview today that was done by TMZ Sports that they did with Rick, who he looks like he's sitting in a coffee shop, totally distressed and very tearful, very emotional. And if you're interested, I'm sure it's available wherever you can, YouTube, wherever, TMZ Sports. They conducted it with Ric Flair again earlier today. If you want to go watch it again, but it's very, very emotional. And more of these to come, I'm sure. We had Triple H also comment, kind of what you'd expect Triple H to say. That, I mean, you can almost plug and play a big wrestler's death with the way Triple H explains every one of them. Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for the larger-than-life characters that compete in the ring. I mean, Triple H has turned into a corporate pet in a way. Really, he is, I think, a product of the corporate suits now that he is surrounding himself with on a daily basis, the way he speaks. But, hey, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. Donald Trump also commented on it. Recognizing his passing. So a lot more to come in the days and weeks to follow here with Ric Flair. As I said, very emotional, but others as well. And it's a big day in wrestling. It's not a great day in wrestling, but it's one that obviously we're never going to forget with Hulk's passing. But there's other angles to this, and many people have almost celebrated his death. Because of the past allegations and racist remarks he's made and his political affiliations and showing up last year at the Republican National Convention and supporting Donald Trump. And obviously that's a very controversial topic. And sure, if you're a Democrat and you're not happy with the results of the election, Hulk Hogan is not your favorite guy because he supported the side that you villainized. But here's the thing. Besides the fact that he supports a party that you may or may not actually support, right? He supports a political party. No human being that has ever lived is going to be perfect. I know that's a revelation to some people. And being perfect doesn't mean that you are affiliating yourself with the party that you support politically. And unfortunately, a lot of things are politicized today. But the racist remarks he made, weren't good. Obviously, I don't think anyone supports that. I don't care what side you fall on. The racist remarks Hulk Hogan has made in the past were really bad, and he has tried to walk that back. And there's nothing he can say or do to a lot of people that will ever allow him to repent to a place where he's all is forgiven. Right? A lot of it is just subservience to the mob. Right? And I think that's a lot of what people wanted. But there's a lot of things that you could look at Hulk Hogan and just from an objective standpoint and still understand that, okay, he may have said and did things that he wish he didn't. But haven't we all in our life? Nobody living, breathing human being on this earth right now could tell me with a straight face that they have never said or done anything that they have regretted. Or that if they've said something in private, if it was publicized, people would view them differently. Of course, I'm not excusing his what he's said in the past and some of the racist remarks he's made? Of course not. But my point is, he's still a human being that had kids, friends, family. And if you're a wrestling fan, the odds are that you are a wrestling fan because of Hulk Hogan, either directly or indirectly. So, I mean, there are figures in history, very famous figures in history, that we make statues for and recognize their contributions to society, even if they were potentially bad people behind closed doors. They did bad things behind closed doors, but those bad things were overshadowed by the greater good, the net positive that they brought to society. So, I mean, former slave owners that contributed to society. And today, obviously, I don't think there's a person in this world, at least in the United States, that would support slavery, but they were the founding fathers of the country. And I'm not trying to go off the rails too much, but all I'm trying to do is get people who are villainizing and celebrating Hulk Hogan even in his death to realize there are likely things. In fact, I can guarantee you things that you've said in your private life that if it was ever publicized, your whole life, your career, your family, your friends may change how they view you. Right. And unfortunately today we have public platforms that those things can happen on. So that's, one part of this. And from a wrestling perspective, hey, I mean, what can you say? I don't know what I can say that hasn't already be said or has already been said or will be said. To say he's a wrestling legend is really underscoring what he did for wrestling, not just in the 80s, helping WWE go global. The things he did, obviously, with Andre the Giant, with Ric Flair, later years in the NWO, bringing together and being the centerpiece of a group that helped beat WWE in its ratings for 86, 87 weeks, whatever it was. 84 weeks. I don't know. I can't ever get the numbers straight. But he was the centerpiece of that faction. Had one of the greatest heel turns ever in professional wrestling with the Bash at the Beach turn in 1996. And reinvented himself as a bad guy. Yeah, the NWO eventually got washed out. Too many people joined and no one seemed to care. And WWE, or rather WCW's management of the company and storylines and creative control was just a mess, ultimately leading to WWE's victory over WCW. And then the return of Hulk Hogan in 2002 at No Way Out with the NWO, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, where they tried to bring them in as a heel group, but that didn't work because the fans were just too damn excited to see Hulk Hogan in WWE for the first time in like 15 years. So it was nostalgic for the fans who had grown up on him. I was born on the very first, during the very first year of WrestleMania. So I didn't grow up watching him because, at that point I had started watching wrestling in the late 90s. And by that time, he was already with WCW and I had just seen the start of the Attitude Era and Hulk wasn't there for that. But his return in 2002, I remember very vividly. And I remember watching like, wow, this is pretty damn surreal. I mean, you have Hulk Hogan, a guy I never thought I'd see wrestle back in WWE. And Vince McMahon, if you remember the story, was he was going to inject poison into the WWE. He was going to kill his own creation. Remember that? He was staring into the mirror on SmackDown. I'll never forget it. Referring to the NWO. Bringing them in and having a heck of a run. He had the match with The Rock that turned him fully babyface, back to his red and yellow colors, back to Mr. America. Hulk Hogan is a part of the American fabric, the culture of Americana. That embodies Hulk Hogan. He may be a goody two shoes at the core of the character, but there's something about it that he made cool. He made it cool to be super straight edge and fight for your dreams and take your vitamins, right? He made it cool because the guy just looked so damn cool. And he had a great promo voice. He may not have been the best promo, but his voice and his aura and his look carried him so far. And but his return in 2002, again, he went back to the red and yellow after the fans turned on The Rock in WrestleMania 18, that infamous match. And I remember him eventually being Mr. America, kind of the way that Grande Americano with Chad Gable's happening now. And that whole deal was fun with Vince McMahon, and the match with Vince McMahon, and obviously a match that never happened was him and Stone Cold, although they did share a ring on a tag team match on Raw, and there was some actual interaction between Austin and Hogan in the ring in a tag team match that was very brief, but it did happen. And that's all we'll get. And then, in his later years, he kind of faded out. Eventually, he would face Triple H. He would face Brock Lesnar. And, it was a fun run up into the mid-2000s. And then kind of rode off into the sunset. And made some appearances at WrestleMania. I remember against Muhammad Hassan. He came in and cleared the ring of Muhammad Hassan in 2005, I think it was. 2006, somewhere around there. I think it was 2005. And the moment at WrestleMania 30 when he infamously called the Superdome the Silver Dome in New Orleans. And we had Stone Cold come out, The Rock come out. They all shared a beer. Cool moment, although I would have had Austin drop a stunner on both of them. It was still a cool moment. And then since then, he's been kind of in and out. Legends nights, and most recently coming back to promote his beer. And sadly, he gets booed out of the building in his final appearance in front of a wrestling audience. I mean, had we all known, right? Although had we all known, some of you guys probably still would have booed him. But I think the majority of us, if we had known, obviously would have showered him with love, just out of a human perspective and knowing that's the last time we're ever going to see him. So it's kind of sad that his final appearance in a wrestling environment, in a large wrestling environment anyway, a live televised event, was the fans booing the hell out of him, which is kind of sad. But he does have his beer, which I'm sure is going to shoot off the shelf. I have a distributor down the road. I'm going to try to pick some up out of just out of tribute, if I can find any. Again, it's probably going to be difficult to find his beer that he launched. From what I understand, it's pretty good. I'll give it a try. But yeah, so the other thing, as I was talking a little bit about it to open with the spring break episode, or spring break kind of tease there, I was in Panama City for spring break in 2000. It was either 2008 or 2009. And I remember going to, it was Hammerhead Fred's. I think it was the Hammerhead Fred down in Panama City Beach. I don't know if that bar is still there. Right when I was still spring break in my early 20s. I never gave it up. But Brooke Hogan, they were filming Hogan Knows Best there at the time. And this is a real spring break crowd that is of the age of 18 to, 25, hammered. I mean, there's just drunk people everywhere. They eventually had a foam party that I think gave all of us SARS. But I remember them filming that, and Brooke Hogan was there, and she was on stage, and I had gotten kind of close to the stage, and she's up there, and she's doing her thing on stage while the crew is filming her. And then here comes Hulk Hogan, right through the crowd to do whatever he was going to do with his daughter. And I was able to kind of slap him on the back quickly as he's coming through the crowd and coming up to his daughter. And I forget the episode of what exactly happened. I'll have to go back and I don't know what happened on that episode of Hogan Knows Best, but they were filming clearly. So that was kind of a cool moment. You're in Panama City Beach with your buddies, and then you're hammered, drunk, and next thing you know, you see Hulk Hogan, and I'm a wrestling fan. So it's like the best of all worlds. I mean, I'm on spring break. I'm hammered. I'm with my buddies. I'm in a tropical environment. It's summer, it's like summer weather there. And then I see one of the biggest wrestling legends of all time right in front of me. I mean, it was just a cool combination of all my worlds mixing at once. So personally, again, no one really cares about that memory except me, because I'm the only one that experienced it. But still, I'm sure if you guys have your own moments. I remember he came to Albany, and I remember right here when they used to call it the Knickerbocker Arena. It might have been Pepsi Arena at that time, Anyway, I mean, they've renamed the damn thing 4 times. But I remember the appearance from Hulk Hogan on SmackDown. It was teased the week before that Stephanie McMahon, who was the commissioner or GM, rather, of SmackDown at that time, had a quote-unquote bombshell of her own to drop on SmackDown. And SmackDown was in Albany that next week. And lo and behold, I think it was 03 or 04, and Hulk Hogan appeared. And we gave him a reception that lasted like 20 minutes. I had floor seats. I was 2 or 3 rows back from ringside. Awesome seats. And we were chanting for Hulk Hogan because he was now a part of SmackDown. Stephanie had acquired him. And it was just an awesome moment. I mean, Hogan got the longest, most sustained reaction I've ever heard in any live event that I've ever been to. It was a moment, again, I'll never forget that. I mean, just the love that the fans had for Hulk Hogan as a character, as a person. Yes, despite his flaws, despite all the flaws, it still transcended all of that, and the fans just loved him. And now I think, looking back, we cherish those memories that we have about Hogan, and there's going to be a lot of interviews to come, a lot of reactions to go over. Hogan will be clearly mentioned tomorrow night on SmackDown. I'm sure opening the show, there might even be a 10-bell salute. How can there not be? And you'll get reaction from maybe wrestlers throughout the show as they kind of do a semi-tribute show. They're not going to hold everything up for Hulk Hogan in terms of storyline and pausing everything. They're not going to do an Eddie Guerrero show or anything like that, or an Owen Hart show. I think they'll do a kind of a tribute throughout the show, and they're getting the takes of various wrestlers right now. That's my guess as to how they're going to give a tribute to Hulk Hogan, and I'm sure they'll do the same on Raw. Raw will get its chance on Monday to do the same thing. It might be another 10-bell salute. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but they'll recognize Terry Bollea in some way, do a whole documentary. A&E will do a documentary. And boy, have we lost a lot of people. I mean, we've had Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, and there's somebody else that they put up a picture of him, and I'm like, who is that dude? But some of you know, some other TV star that I don't know also passed away this week. So they do come in threes. That's like a thing. It's not just rumor anymore. Like deaths, big, large, like significant deaths do seem to come in threes. And obviously Hogan joins Andre and joins Bray Wyatt. And it's just over the last several years, it's been kind of a rough go, as they said, for us millennials too, elder millennials and Gen Xers. It's been a rough week with the 2 big legends, one in music, one in professional wrestling, and both have died. And I'm not going to get into religious areas here, but if you are somebody that believes in the afterlife, well, that's something to look forward to. If you don't, then I guess that's the end for you, right? That's the end for you. I mean, like, hey, whatever you want to believe is what you want to believe. I have my own, but hey, regardless, it's a sad day for professional wrestling fans. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. I'll continue to comment on what other wrestlers are saying. We can break down. I'm sure we will break down much more about this as we get more comments and maybe learn more. I mean, there was no foul play here, which means there was no, at least there's nobody that tried to poison him or anything like that. It looks like just a massive heart attack, which is not uncommon. I mean, it's the number one killer of men, particularly as you get into his age bracket. Number one by a long shot. Heart disease, heart attacks like that. That's us dudes are the stats aren't great for us. So get your heart checked if you have any issues. And I don't know if he had anything leading up to this. He did talk about how tired he was on his last interview that he did with I forget the name of the podcast, but he was talking about how tired he was, but it was because of the travel. I mean, if there were warning signs, I'm not aware of any that he publicly made known anyway. But as far as foul play goes, no, they've ruled that out. Now, there's going to be a lot of speculation. Is it because, or was a contributing factor steroids because it enlarges your heart? And it does, and it's just overall terrible for your health. I mean, I think we can say without a doubt that steroid use is a contributing factor. I don't need a doctor to do a case study on it. Yes. But was it the direct result of him being dead? No. But I think it was a contributing factor depending on how long he did it. And he definitely did steroids, and he's been, outed for that before, and it is what it is. But I mean, I don't need a doctor to confirm it. Steroids will inherently shorten your life. And I'm not judging him. A lot of people have done it. It's a life decision he made, and he looked great. But he was certainly not all natural. Again, not going to help your health. So had he not done steroids, who's to say how long he would have lived? Maybe he still would have been dead at 71, and he still would have had the heart attack either way. Maybe it's just, you never know. I mean, because we only have one path to see. We can't see all possibilities in life. And so who knows? But if I were to guess, this was a significant but not overwhelming contributing factor, was his use of steroids in the past. But the results is the same. He's no longer here. And there is video, if you do a little bit of a search, a little video of somebody outside of his home in Clearwater, Florida. And I've been by that shop many times, by the way, his restaurant in Clearwater, Florida. Great place. Just generally Clearwater I love. And then his beach shop is fun too. And yeah, things are overpriced, but everything is in Clearwater. But there is video of the paramedics taking him out of his home on the stretcher, and you can see them trying to perform CPR. You can see them trying to perform life-saving measures, and he died. Apparently he was still alive, from what I understand, all the way up until he got to the hospital, but that he was hanging on. I mean, he was hanging on for dear life, no pun intended, up until the hospital. And when he got to the hospital, it was just like, he couldn't kick out, to pun a wrestling term. He got hit with a finish, and that was it. 1, 2, 3 at 11:17 this morning. Whatever you were doing, I know I was at work setting up my desk. I'm not sure what you were doing, probably at work as well. Most of us anyway. It's a sad day. And I don't know how he was found, or I got to see who made the call. It might've been, I don't even know. I thought I saw who made the call to 911. But the Clearwater police did make a public statement about it, and they have said, again, no foul play, which I don't think anyone suspected anyway. But tough one, guys. It's a tough one here. And again, I unfortunately am seeing a lot of celebration on X about Terry Bollea no longer being with us, and just completely dehumanizing somebody because of their political beliefs. It's kind of where we are today, sadly, because for a lot of people, politics is their religion. It's in place of religion. And so their religion has, again, both sides to some degree, have taught them to dehumanize people. And when you dehumanize somebody, all bets are off. Anything could happen to them, and everything is justified that happens to them when you dehumanize somebody. And I'm seeing a lot of unfortunate, people that are happy today that Hulk Hogan is dead. And it's a sad state of affairs that we live in. But I know a lot of people are seeing the light here and saying, look, he's a human being, a father, a husband, he's a friend, and he's gone. So, yeah, tough one, as I said, and be interesting to see what WWE does on SmackDown and on Raw in the coming week, and maybe even a tribute at SummerSlam. I don't know if they will. They certainly might. I don't know how far WWE is going to go with the Hulk Hogan tributes and everything else, and him tearing off his shirt, and how many times we'll see that. But what was his final appearance? I'm Googling it. It was Was it January 6th Netflix debut with Jimmy Hart? It might have been when he was, I think it was. I think that was his final appearance on the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. I think that's the notes I'm seeing. So last time you see him, and again, you never know. It just goes to show you never know when you're going to see somebody for the last time. Not trying to bring people down here, but it's reality. You know, we are all going to see something finish us. Like there's a finish move for all of us out there. We just don't know what that finishing move is. If you want to get a little bit humorous, but also be a realist about it, if you want to incorporate pro wrestling with the mortality of us as human beings, there is a finishing move that that we are not going to kick out of. We just don't know what it is. That finishing move could be an accident. It could be a heart attack. It could be cancer. It could be an aneurysm. I mean, I'm not trying to freak people out, but if you want to use kind of humor to cope with things and realize that we're all mortal human beings, even the immortal Hulk Hogan, then that's a good way to deal with it. As we want to, if you need a little coping mechanism. But certainly a tough day, as I've said, and I hope everyone is doing all right. And again, none of us are going to need to go to therapy for this if we're just the fans from a distance watching Hulk Hogan. Some of us may get emotional. I'm sure there'll be a lot of rewatching of his matches or his best moments, and a lot of YouTube trending for sure over the coming days and weeks. And A&E specials once they get them together, and tributes on Raw, and we'll see what all the wrestlers on X say, and past and current friends and family. We'll hear from them as well, which will be a lot of fun. So here we are. That's why I'm here on a Thursday, not for a good reason, but I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Again, I'll be back tomorrow with your mailbag. If you want to contribute, you can head on over to mailbag. You can email mailbag@wwepodcast.com. Again, mailbag@wwepodcast.com. If you want to call in, the show notes of those mailbag shows do have the number in there as well. You can leave a voicemail, or you can send me a voicemail attachment on email, but please make sure it's only a couple minutes long. I try not to, outside of a couple of people that are contributing to the show, make it any more than a couple minutes long, but you can add a voicemail to the email if you'd like. Mailbag@wwepodcast.com. Give me your thoughts on Hulk Hogan's passing. What are your thoughts? Some of your favorite memories. What are some of your favorite memories of Hulk Hogan? I'd love to hear that, and I'll put it on tomorrow afternoon show. It's probably when I'll get it out. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on this Thursday, and take care. We'll talk tomorrow.